Okay.
I hit the go live. We are live. It says you are.
Yay!
Hi.
Hi, Donna. It's so great to see you. You do your reading on the 18th. You release it on the 22nd of November, which gave us some preliminary info, like quite a bit, right? And
Hey,
lawful,
that has almost 500,000 views.
I know I can believe it, but you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have much from law enforcement in the beginning. In fact, we had
Mm-mm.
very little detail, but your reading was so insightful, like about him skipping the door, which would have been Dylan's, right?
Right.
About that he buried his shovel, or sorry, that he buried with a shovel this evidence. We
Right.
now can speculate that based on the documents. Like, this is stuff you said right out of the gate.
Right.
And
And even the
still,
front door being open. And it's so
exactly.
funny that I said this, 5 days after the murder, I'm saying the front door's left open. I'm also saying 5 days after the murder, I'm saying he goes out the back door, walks around in a circle, comes back in the kitchen, goes down the stairs, goes out the front door. He's leave the front door open.
Right.
And yet people are still going, no,
Oh my.
it's like you could read the PDF documents, you could listen to the reading, and yes, that is true. And what really bothered me, because I think for about a year, I kind of didn't really put much out on this case because there
Same
wasn't
here.
news stories, right? And then all of a sudden, I realized that what had sprouted up as a result of all the censoring of the information that they did,
Yes.
it really had a kind of bad reaction because people made up stories. So then the
Thank
channels
you.
that were covering it, they were a bunch of fake conspiracy theories, and they're sitting there every single night raising money with these fake
Raking it in.
with these fake conspiracy theories. And then that's why I started making videos again a few months ago, was like, wait a minute, you guys,
Yeah.
because they were just attacking Dylan,
Yeah.
just attacking her.
I know.
And I just thought, I mean, could you imagine being the victim of a horrible, I mean, could you imagine how terrifying
Yeah.
that whole thing is? And then they're attacking her for being a liar because they're claiming that Bethany says she saw someone out the front door. And that's why I started, that's why, hey, look, here's these clips. This is what occurred. Both young women are correct, And so
Right.
I made a few videos trying to clear up some of these conspiracy theories. And a lot of people attacked me again, but I
That's what
tell
you
you,
do.
after the Lori Vallow case, they don't even faze me. I'm like,
That's good. That's good.
block. But
Just yeah, for me, it puts me in a place of like, okay, fine. I'm not making videos anymore. Like, I don't care anymore. I don't want to fight with these people. They're nut jobs. Like that chick that came after both of us a few weeks ago.
oh, I don't know if her.
Well, you do. I just won't say her name.
Yeah, don't say
Remember
her.
you
Oh,
you
okay,
posted something
yeah,
and she
yeah,
attacked you, and then she totally attacked me. And it's
yeah.
like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to fight with somebody I don't respect, and I don't respect her. She has caused so much division and BS in this case.
Well, one thing they've done is actually encourage, not only have they lied, which would be bad enough, but then they encouraged their followers to attack other creators and even
That's what
mainstream,
she did to
like
me.
attack everyone. And so it's like when I first started putting up videos in the last few months to try to correct some of these conspiracy theories, what happened was teams of people came over to attack me and try to swat me down, to intimidate me and guess what? I'll take on anybody. I'll take on the whole entire US government.
Yeah.
And I've done it. If I believe in something strongly, I will put that in front of any fear of anything. And so those, I just kept up. That just made me just be like, no, we got a real problem here. If they're having teams of people go attack any YouTube creators that try to even cover this case in a rational way.
Right.
So that all that was left was the conspiracy theorist,
That is seriously, with very few exceptions, that is the only type of channel that has been covering this case for 2 years now.
Right.
I had to walk away. I couldn't stand it another minute. I was like, maybe when they start releasing factual info, then maybe I'll chime in eventually. But I still don't feel that compelled to do that because their voices are the loudest. These oppositional, weirdo, nutcase conspiracy theorists, they're all over Twitter. It makes me not want to go on Twitter. I shouldn't let them win, but I can't stand these people.
No, they're losing steam. They have their followers anymore, but there's so many other creators now that actual information has come out that are putting out information and reading the documents that I don't think you need to worry about it anymore. Like there's 2 or 3 a day. I don't mind at all if someone wants to come on my channel and go, I think Brian's innocent and whatever. That's fine. But if they want to call me names, right, that's when I block them. Like, I otherwise I just say, keep an open mind. There's going to be a lot of information coming out. Please go back and listen to my reading and compare it, I had a very good description of Brian.
Nailed it. You nailed it.
Yeah. And I put that description into OpenAI. I think it was ChatGPT. I put that description, only what I said, nothing else, from the time when he was following Kylie downtown and when I saw him in the house. So whatever I said about him then, and it looked amazingly like Brian. I mean, not identical, but it was like if someone made a sketch, could have been just like that,
You described him so perfectly in most everybody's opinion if they listen to the reading. About 6 foot tall, I think you said. I
said he's about 6 foot tall. He's about 30 years old. He has brunette hair with a wave on top. He's wearing a black hoodie. I mean, can you imagine how excited I was when that Dateline episode came out and they had all those photos of the black hoodie, and I'm like, yes! Yeah. Even that little detail, he's wearing a black hoodie. He's following the round face girl. He's following the one that's a little heavier, and she's not heavy. It's just Maddie was so thin. I mean, that's the only way that I could tell him. The first reading, all I had done was look at a picture. I didn't know who was who. I knew their names, and I went and laid down and prayed and started doing the reading. But yeah, and then in the house, I said he's basically Caucasian with a little Mediterranean mixed in, and he has some similarity in his coloring with David Paulides, which is funny. Everyone's going, who the heck is that? But that guy has some thick eyebrows, and that guy's Greek. And Brian Koberger's mother, her maiden name is Italian, right? So that's where Brian gets his Mediterranean. So it was all correct. Everything was correct. And then on there's a bunch of readings, and I would kick myself for not knowing or uploading them all. But it was like on the 23rd on that reading, I had his name, Brian.
Isn't that something? Oh my God.
I know if I had got that up ahead of time, at least I would have proof. But I mean, that's really, really, there's no doubt. There's zero doubt. I do not see how those same people who've been spreading lies and conspiracy theories for 2 years in the face of all this evidence continue to insist he's innocent. And they've got this whole following of people giving them money because those people think that they're going to rescue Brian.
Yeah.
If Brian was in a room with any one of them and he could get away with it, he would cut their throat.
Exactly.
He would literally cut their throat and drink their blood. He's a sick person. And so it's a weird phenomena.
It is.
With the social media.
And women that fall in love with really creepy guys. They did it with Richard Ramirez and Ted Bundy and numerous others. What is it about the creepy serial killer type guy that gets them so hot and bothered? What do you think? Just they're dangerous, or they want to change them?
Let's figure that out. It's hard to say. I could see if they thought someone, so if a girl was addicted to drugs, she might like a drug dealer. If who would be attracted to a serial killer?
My gosh, you got to worry about.
I can't even imagine.
Right.
I'm sorry I interrupted you. What were you
No,
saying?
you didn't. You're fine. You can't make heads or tails of it. It doesn't make sense why somebody would be attracted to this type of man. Is it the living on the edge? He might kill me at any minute. So it's like, I'm more alive than ever. Whatever it is, it doesn't make sense. I don't know.
Or they feel like they're so wounded inside from some past thing that happened to them that they think they'll find a connection with somebody else who might be wounded, and they'll rescue them, and then
That's what I think.
that's they're rescuing themselves or something, and it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not. You're bringing a whole new world of abuse on yourself for that.
Absolutely. I know.
Yeah.
It's just, it boggles my brain why he has such a cult following. And still, even after he has pled guilty to these charges, nope, he didn't do it. Nope, he's just taking the heat for it so that he can, whatever their excuse is. And you're going, what is this all about? Deeper within them, that they have to defend a guy who is admitting his guilt. Why?
It's crazy. My mom actually worked at a prison. She worked at Monroe State Prison in Washington State. And she would talk about these women that marry these prisoners. And I mean, they didn't know them before they committed a crime. They marry them, and they surround their lives around them, and they send them money, and they come and do these conjugal visits.
Oh.
And do you know what that is? So they have like a little cottage, and they get to stay in there for 48 hours or whatever. And that really helps them control the prisoners, though. You know, the prison.
Frustrated.
Right? And they have something to look forward to that they can take away. It's like you're not going to get your poontang if you throw that oatmeal at the wall. You know, it's like,
that's true. You could control a whole populace. Yeah.
Totally. My mom said it is what is like the number one most easiest way to control them, because you just threaten to take that away.
Right.
But the women change, they upend their entire lives. They live in total abject poverty, and everything goes to this prisoner. Oh, this is the other thing. The prisoners make a lot of promises.
Okay.
See, they don't have to, they're not in a position to carry any of them out. So the woman goes into this fantasy world with them where when he gets out, if he appeals, he's going to be the man of her dreams. Mm-hmm. And my mom said that, like, in the prison, there'll be one person that's really good at kind of writing poetic love letters. The other prisoners will pay that person to write letters for them.
So it's unoriginal, in other words.
Yeah. They're not even the one who wrote it, and they're writing these, and the woman's just sitting there going, oh my God. Yeah.
It's so nuts. Wow. Your mom must have seen a lot of things then.
Yeah, and it changed her. That was the sad part of it, was because I grew up with this very liberal mother and very non-judgmental. I never heard her say a racist thing in her life. Like, you know, pretty easygoing as far as being a parent. I mean, she wasn't a very good mother because she was gone a lot, but she wasn't me. But when she graduated with a master's degree in social work, and then she really liked her job. She was a sex counselor.
Really?
Yeah, for women that couldn't orgasm.
Okay.
So she helped them. She even taught a class at the community college, teaching a 10-week class on, and I helped her put it together. So I'm like 14 going, really? But,
wow.
Yeah. And she really liked doing what she was doing, but she just didn't make enough money. So she accepted the job with the state. And within a year, she literally became a different person.
That's interesting.
She would walk around trying to warn me of everything. Like, okay, a lot of people come up, like if a girl a female or something doesn't have her car doors locked while she's driving. Mm-hmm. Some people stand around the intersection corners if they spot that, and they'll just walk over and get in. And that's how they rape. Jeez. And a lot of them have raped like dozens of people before they even get caught one time, because most people are so embarrassed they don't even report it. Mm-hmm. And then like a lot of rapists actually work in pairs, surprisingly. Not all of them, but a lot do. And so they'll have one act real scary, so the female runs to the other person who's pretending he's going to help them, but then they'd throw the person in a van or something. So she was always trying to warn me, lock your doors. And then she wanted me to buy a dummy to put in my passenger seat.
Oh, gosh, that's wild. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, and then but I saw her like come home and swear, like just with anger, and so she just became a little different. And I noticed that sometimes when I talk to cops too, like they're real cynical, and not all of them. A lot of them are real. And this isn't a mean thing, but it's just like they see everyone lie to them all the time.
Right.
So they quit believing people. So these kind of jobs do change people, I think.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Speaking of cops, relating to the Idaho case, what do you make of all this? It feels like this protecting of Brian. Do you feel that so far, like the prosecutor, for example, I feel like he's preventing this flow of info still, because even in his interviews, he's not telling it like it is. They're still acting like this wasn't a sexually motivated crime. And you know it was.
Oh, it's very sexually motivated.
Yeah.
Extremely. His fantasy is assaulting someone while he's killing them.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that, like, I felt really sad when I was reading these PDFs that came out, when I saw the knife wounds I read about the knife wounds on Madison. Did you see that on Maddie? She was cut like this from her eye down to here.
Right.
And do you remember, I think it was in my second reading, I'm not sure, but I was talking about this in one of my videos in the last few months, but the readings are from a long time ago, but I was talking about this again, because it bothered me how these conspiracy theorists are trying to make Brian seem like this nice guy that needs to be rescued. And I'm like, you guys need to realize how evil this person is. I saw him on top of Matt. I got chills on my legs when I said that. I saw him on top of Maddie, and Maddie was trying to close her eyes. And I didn't see the part where he did that, but I saw him on her doing something, just pure evil, trying to make her open her eyes before he plunged the knife in. He wanted to be looking in her eyes, so I can only imagine that that's why she's closing her eyes, so he's trying to force her to open her eyes. I mean, It's like when I see those cuts, I know based on my reading where some of those cuts came from and how they happened. And that made me kind of sad to see that.
Donna, recently I read a really good book. It was about the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez. Mm-hmm. And I kind of think the more I find out about some of these serial killers, that he seriously took a piece of each of their playbook. And Richard Ramirez, and you might remember this because I think you were living in California when he was hit, right?
I don't know which years it is. I don't remember.
It was in the 80s. It was like,
definitely.
85, maybe. It was for a long period of time. But what he did in one of his murders was he removed, I think it was the eye or the eyes of one of his victims, and he put them inside of a little box. And it made me wonder when I read that about Madison's eye, if that was maybe his goal was to take out her eye and take it as a souvenir.
Could be.
No BS. That's what I thought when I read that. I was like, he copied them on so many levels.
He did. It's like, if you want to know what he did, just compare with different serial killers, because all along the line, he was doing little copycat things of serial killers.
He absolutely was. I know. And even with one of the Night Stalker's victims, he had, just like you described with Kylie, he had plunged the knife in and really opened her up. And I know this is very graphic.
And while she's alive, could you imagine laying there alive, someone's doing that to you?
I know. And that was straight out of what's his name? Richard Ramirez playbook too, what Brian Koberger did to Kylie.
That was horrible. Just horrible. And the first reading that I did when they brought me into those rooms, when he went in there, when he went in Xana and Ethan's room, I put my head down. Like, I did not want to see.
Right.
Like, I can make the light be dark. I can't stop what the spirit guides are showing me. I can't stop it. And maybe it's because they're bringing me into a thing where it already happened, and I'm just standing there while it's going out. But the next day I did a reading, and I didn't even realize that until about 6 months ago that I had done another reading the next day. And in that reading, I sound real calm, and I'm talking about the different, step-by-step blows. And I think they put so much spiritual energy around me that it didn't traumatize me, because I sound real calm while I'm talking about it.
Almost accepting that of the fact, maybe?
Just factual, not emotional, just factual. Like, I think I just didn't want to see it the first time, but on the first time, on that first one though, they forced me really, to watch what he did to Maddie. And,
Uh,
and you know what? That's another confirmation was I have maintained for 2.5 years that I believe Maddie started out in her own, I mean, not, see, I always do that.
Kaylee, yeah. No, you're right.
I believe that Kaylee started out sleeping in her own bed. And I don't know if you saw the PDF where the
I
police
did.
say that her bed was made, and even I keep saying the sheets were turned back, that she got it. That's exactly the words that the police used that they just released a few weeks ago, that the sheets and blankets were turned back and it looked like someone had started out sleeping there. And
You nailed it. Yeah.
yeah, because in that reading what I saw, and so that's probably why she yelled, "There's someone here," if she's the one who yelled that. I don't know if it was her or Xana, but that area right at the top of the stairs, I think she went there, and Brian and her, I mean, it was like, she had no, but then he shoved her into Maddie's room, and I saw him cut her stomach open.
Oh,
I saw it. They made me watch that part. Like, I wasn't able to block that part out. So that part, I guess, was important. Like, the spirit guides know what's important.
right.
And what's not,
Yeah.
And then it was a couple weeks after that Steve Gonsalves talked about that.
He did. And more recently, like maybe 2 months ago, he got into a little more detail that she was really cut open. Exactly how you described, Donna, back on November 18th, 2022.
Yeah. And you know what? That reminds me of another thing. You know what? How Dylan said there was something at his waist that seemed a little triangle shaped?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is, but I mean, okay, about the container, but besides that, what comes to my mind is a fanny pack.
Oh.
If he had a black fanny pack, to throw the container in, but so if it's strapped on him, they do bulge out kind of where in the dark it could look like it has that kind of shape like
that's
that.
interesting. Uh-huh.
And then I see he took a jar of blood, and I'm telling you, when I've listened to these readings that I've never uploaded, and I still haven't even listened to all my own readings. There's so many, but he is so comfortable and so knowing of what he wants to do with that blood that there's no way I'm not saying he's killed people because I don't know. I didn't do a reading asking about that. But as far as the blood, he could have also got it from animals. He uses it for sexual gratification, and it wasn't something new. It wasn't something like, "Oh, I'm going to do this." It was a ritual routine that he was very familiar with, and he knew exactly what he wanted to do with the blood.
Oh my gosh. And validating to that point you just made, Donna, is when he was arrested, and eventually as law enforcement was releasing some of the records, one of the things found on his mattress was blood. And when I heard that, I was like, Donna again.
Yeah.
Donna, got it.
Yeah. And what's even with his hair? Like he took a shower, put on clean clothes, but his hair, it's like,
it was so red.
I know.
Honestly,
did he put blood in his hair?
That's what I suspect, because it looked incredibly red right here. And I thought, well, did he dye it, or is this like blood? And other people were, I think it's blood. I'm like, yeah, I think you're right.
It could very well be. It could, because okay, like I saw him with one jar that was like the size of a 2-quart jar.
Oh my gosh, that much?
So it'll be interesting. Well, it had a body part in it, but we'll see when the autopsies come out. Because now, I don't know if people know, anybody can go on the Moscow Police Department website to look at these PDFs. They're not even hard to get, but essentially they're kind of more like a record of what was done day to day. Rather, there's some of them that have some information, but really a bunch of FOIA requests. So the actual autopsy is not in there. And I think we'll learn a lot more about that. So, but then when I saw him sexually gratifying himself, he had a little jar. It was like a baby food sized jar. And he dipped his finger in it. And so it wasn't like he poured it all over, because obviously it's precious, right? I don't know if that's the reason, but he had a baby food size jar and he dipped his finger in it and then he just put some on his private. And then he started doing it literally. And I'm just like, yeah, the first time I saw him, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's so sick. And I think it was either the same reading or on the 26th of December, I did a reading and I was so worried, I guess is the best word, that he was about to kill his mother because of that reading. They showed me. I mean, he was going to put a meat cleaver in his head and he wanted to. He was like this far away. He wanted to put if she even brought up any, are you the person, or any suspicion, or just even started commenting about him. And he was ready. And just think, if he in the kitchen, he had whacked his mom over the head with the meat cleaver, then if the dad tried to grab him, the dad could get killed too. Yeah. The sisters could get killed if they were there. I mean, he was still in killing mode. And you could see the killing mode. You see, he's almost looks totally different in different pictures.
Oh, I know. And the eyes are really weird to me too.
They change colors.
Right. Because
they turn black.
They look black.
Mm-hmm. When they're turned black, I think that's when the demons got most control over his body.
Yep.
But, so he was going to kill his mom. I was super worried about, and also his coworker. He wanted to kill one of his coworkers. If one of his coworkers had started saying, "Ooh, you might be the killer," he might have killed that person too. Like, he wanted to kill he actually wanted to kill his coworker. That coworker is lucky to be alive, and the mom. And then I was like, I was just running around my house going, "Oh my God, oh my God." Mm-hmm. And so then I just turned on my camera for like 10 minutes and I'm like, this man is about to kill his mother. Remember that? I put it on the 28th. I think the police, I really, because some people said, why did you arrest him then? Why didn't you wait till you had a little more or whatever? And I think they heard that. And they arrested him about 30 hours after I put that up. So I put that up on the 28th, and then you have the 29th, and then the early morning hours, which is technically the 30th, but just about 30 hours after I put that up, they arrested him.
And I feel like I was hearing, and I can't recall where this is from, but like as early as the 19th of December, I think they had his name. Does anybody recall if that's the case? Because I feel like that's what I've heard now a couple times. So they were really watching him. They were waiting for those results and stuff. And then they get it. And then they had to figure out, okay, how do we go about this?
Yeah, without him doing anything. Yeah, because he had a gun, right? He had a gun when they,
Right, yeah, he did.
Yeah, so that was, his mom is lucky to be alive.
Wow. And he loves I say love, how about in quotations? He claims to, or he seems like, in a sense, he really cares about his mom, maybe more than his dad, because in his more recent records, he's talking about when he's actually discussing this with some law enforcement, he's saying, is my mom okay? Is my dog okay? Like, he's actually concerned about their well-being, allegedly.
Yeah, and they said he called his mom almost every day. So sometimes when somebody is disabled or defective, they take their anger out on who takes care of him, who's their safe person. So if his mom is his safe person that cares for him, protects him, loves him, and then he's got all this stuff swirling in, or he's like, she gave birth to me and look how messed up I am, and then I hate her, that. It's that kind of dynamic, I think.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. So the parents were... And looking back at that reading, now it all makes so much sense, Donna, because you really paid attention to that detail in your first reading, that his parents are in a dangerous position, but then you really reiterated it in your December 28th reading, I feel like.
Oh, it was imminent. It was imminent. I had a feeling it was going to happen anytime. Like, so... In the first reading, I'm like, his parents know something's wrong with him, right? They know. They talk about him, but they're afraid of him, and they whisper and they talk about him. But in the difference in the December 26th, which I don't think I've even put up, but I did put on YouTube. You can look if anybody's listening and they want to look in my playlist. There's one said, "Warning to Brian Koberger's mother the night before he was arrested." I put that up, and it was imminent at that time. It was something that was going to happen. That's what was kind of scaring me. It's like when you feel the energy of it, you feel like it's something that is about to happen.
Right.
You know, so it's really good. It's really good they arrested him when they did.
Oh, for sure. And this person he worked with, the coworker, did you psychically see if this was a female or a male, or did you get a feeling about it?
No, I don't think so. But in a different reading where the reading that I don't know if I put that one up there. I did put another one up just to see if people were still interested. It might be a female. I don't know. I would have to see. And because I was talking about somebody whose office is at the top of the stairs, the first door on the left. Okay. So I don't know if that was a male or female. And then he wanted to kill that person too. And there was something else in there. I forgot. Slipped my mind. But
yeah, because he was having beef with, it sounds like at least one person for sure. And then he was sort of confiding some of his frustrations in another coworker who claimed that Brian Koberger is a very dishonest person. Like, for example, I saw that. Did you see that where I guess Brian said that he was going to fly back home, for the holidays, when really he had already taken off by car to go back home. So it's just stuff like that he was very dishonest about.
Yeah, and that there's no reason to lie. So maybe some psychopaths, they like lying so much that they just lie for something to do. Like, they don't care. Why would you tell someone that? There's nothing to be gained. Sense. Like, there's no motivation to even lie about something so trivial.
Yeah. And I've known people like that in my life that like old friends when I was a kid would lie, and they had absolutely no reason to. They weren't in risk of like being in trouble or anything. The type to lie about what they ate for breakfast. Like, why are you lying? Versus, it seems like Brian sort of had that going on too. What do they call it? Sociopathic or?
Yeah, definitely a sociopath for sure. So like a sociopath is someone, the part of their brain that has feelings and emotions and feels fear. Really, like most people, if they go, say if you walked in the store and said, I'm going to steal that candy bar over there, right? You'd feel a little guilty, right? Would you feel a little guilty?
Yeah.
Like, say if you go and seize candy and you're like, that's too expensive. I think I'll just stick it in my purse or something.
Right. No, I would feel guilty for sure.
And you'd feel guilty, probably driving down the street going, oh my God, they're going to arrest me.
Yes.
But a sociopath doesn't feel that.
Right.
The part of their brain that does the adrenaline based on the circumstance, it's just not there.
Mm-hmm.
And from an early age, they learn to mimic everybody around them. So that sociopaths can be very charming, very engaging, have a lot of friends, but they don't actually feel. And then a lot of them, because they're so good at that and they don't feel, they become very good at manipulation and taking things away. And so where they step into the realm of a psychopath, then that's their sense of reality. Like Lori Vallow, definitely a psychopath.
Oh, for sure.
They step into a different reality.
Mm-hmm.
So a psychopath would also be a sociopath too. I believe.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Speaking of Lori Vallow, do you know Chad Daybell is in the same cell block, letter J, as Brian Koberger is?
No way.
Where? So I have a feeling him being, Brian being a criminology student and very obsessed with true crime, he's going to try to have one of these. I guess there's like cages set up where one inmate is able to talk to another inmate if they want to.
Oh my God.
Safe zone. I'll bet he wants to meet with him and just talk shop or something. Couldn't you see that?
You know what I should do? I should send Chad Daybell my, I wrote an essay to prove the afterlife.
Oh, I would love that. Do it.
If anyone listening doesn't know, for an essay contest, I wrote that all my work and my readings on the Lori Vallow case prove the afterlife. There's zero chance. The odds are like 1 in 2 or more billion for saying all those things correct. So I wrote an essay, an argument that this proves the afterlife. And it has examples, right? Yeah. So I send that to Chad Daybell. And then I'll send a letter to Brian with a transcript from my readings.
Do it.
And say, I even wrote a sentence how to start it. Because I do think he's Papa Roger. If he's not, I would think it would be someone who knew him.
100%.
Yeah, I just maybe they didn't trace it back, but I feel like he is.
Donna, I think everything that we were seeing is still 100% valid, and I think that law enforcement was 2 minutes too late to getting to it, and FBI and stuff when it came down time to track what he was doing online. He was so smart in erasing all the records of what he was doing, so it's really unbelievable in a sense that they got him still. It was totally on DNA alone because they don't have shit else to say in a lot of ways as far as thing like evidence against him. They can't say it was sexually motivated. They can't say that he was actually stalking them suddenly. It's like, but before they did, why are they now saying that he didn't stalk them?
Because they have to go by the legal definitions. So for me and you, stalking is any unwanted person following you, and especially repeatedly. Then that's, to me, that's stalking. But I read the Idaho law, and it was something, this might not be exact, but it was something like you essentially have to know who they are. Has to be someone you know, and you have to have reported it. They're not technically a stalker until you filed the police report. Okay, that's an interesting thing right there. And then there was a couple of other things. The Idaho law really should change because, I mean, clearly Brian's a stalker, but Bill Thompson cannot say that. He has to go by the definition of the law. And then same as for the sexually motivated crime. So I would think that he's saying, did he sexually mutilate them, or did he didn't have time. He wanted to. I guarantee you he wanted to. That was his fantasy. He wanted to be penetrating them while he cut them open. While he cut Kaylee open like that, he wanted to be penetrating her, and he wanted to be killing her, and he wanted himself to be the last person she ever saw while she knew she was being killed. I mean, he's evil. He's mean. He's not even just someone who goes around killing people. Like these people that do this, they thrive on the torture. They thrive on the fear. They feed off it like vampires.
Completely. You know? And his reason for not, I guess, conquering that fantasy and enacting that or reenacting that is because he was limp, right, Donna? He was a limpy. He was a limpy doodle, limp noodle, whatever you want to call it. He was. Just shooting it straight. The little Kroberger lovers of Brian Koberger are going to get probably a little butt hurt over me saying that. But yeah, isn't that right? It reminds me.
I don't know about at that moment. I think what was going on. See, I know for sure they showed me that he had made himself this time frame.
Yep.
So I know for sure he was trying to do everything in the time frame. So I don't know if when did he leave his house? Around 2:30 or 3 or something? Like
he did. Like I feel like 2:39 or something.
So he planned on having a couple hours.
Yeah.
You know, before the sun comes up and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And he planned on having more time in there.
Yeah.
And if the DoorDash driver wasn't there, and if he didn't have to keep, the lights on and the girls are up late, he waited for all that and drove around and around and around. And I even say in that first reading, I'm like, oh, he parked here. Oh, he parked somewhere else. I think like I didn't know I didn't know that he was circling the block. I just knew he kept moving his car. Right. I think everyone would be dead there. Like, I think there's some common misconceptions. People that look at the case and they don't really know it keep trying to give him human attributes. Like, oh, he just was nice and this, that, the other. No, because in that first reading, I said he skips the next obvious door. So I'm seeing that there's a door for him to go in to kill somebody, but he wants to get to that door upstairs. But I mean, I don't see how my spirit guides would show me over and over and over and over that he entered the kitchen and went to the room on the left first. And I even last night was listening to a well-known, expert claiming that he didn't want to kill Xana and Ethan. So this well-known expert is saying he didn't want to kill Xana and Ethan, and he had no choice, and all that. That's not true. That's not true. And you know how Ethan's back of his legs were cut?
Yeah.
See, I think Ethan was sleeping on his stomach. And so he cut
Oh,
his
that makes
back of his
sense.
legs so he would roll over so then he could stick the knife into his clavicle and cut his throat for the kill things. And so a lot of these, the experts that they've got jobs and other things they're doing, and someone probably hands them like 2-page synopsis and tells them to, and so they really don't know. But when Brian was arrested, the first thing that I did was I went on social media looking for everything I could find about him, because I knew within hours there's going to be 20 fake profiles of Brian.
Absolutely.
I can't remember if it was, I think it was TikTok, but I can't remember if it was TikTok or Instagram. But I found his profile and he was following his sister.
Yes.
And family members. It was obviously the real profile.
Thank you for saying that, Donna, because I am so frustrated with law enforcement saying that there was no links to them, because I saw it with my own eyes that he was attached to his sister, like they were following each other, and then he was attached to Maddie and Kaylee. There was a clear connection. There's even this guy that has come out on a channel called Forensic Frenzy. I wish I could remember the guy's name, but basically he was hired early on, I think, by the defense team to see if there was any link to Kohberger. And sure enough, to the victims. And how it works is it's like an algorithm that this expert goes off of, and it goes by financial records. And sure enough, through financial records, it linked their profiles together.
Oh, it did. So the Forensic Frenzy was able to do that?
One of their guests that they had on.
Oh.
And sometime I need to clip this and maybe have her on to talk about it, because this guy was so well versed. He created the entire system that found the connection to Kohberger and the victims. And then they totally ignored it the whole time in court. It's so frustrating. He absolutely was following them. And he was also on Spotify. And I noticed in the records, the more recent record release, that when law enforcement pulled those records from Spotify, they got no, I guess it's that Spotify actually didn't give them the information. Oh no, you know what? My fridge guy might be here, Donna. I'm going to mute you.
Okay.
I'm going to mute me and hang tight. Just keep talking. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Oh,
okay.
Some change. Oh,
she muted herself. Okay. So what I wanted to tell you guys was Brian was actually following, I think, at least 3 knife fighting channels. And by knife fighting, I don't mean somebody that just picks up a knife, looks at it, and, shows different knives. I mean, where they show people where it looks like if they're on a wrestling match, and they show you the kill points. So there's certain points on the human body, the jugular vein, but there's a place, kind of in your lower inner thighs. If you cut there, the person will bleed out in like 10 minutes. And you notice on the wounds of, I think it was either Xana or Ethan, or maybe both. We'll see on the autopsies, but also on Kaylee. And he stabbed the clavicle. It says a stab right below the clavicle that cut not aorta, but it cut some major vein. And then of course he cuts their throat. So he walked up to, remember in that first reading, I said Ethan was asleep, and then he goes, "Hey, what the fuck?" or whatever, and then the guy just stabs him. And I think he walked up to him, cut the back of his legs so he would roll over, and then he did the throat and this, and he did that to another one of the victims upstairs too. And that's the reason. I haven't seen a single person say that, but the reason he did that is because he studied how to kill someone with a knife, with the knife fighting channels that he had on social media. And one thing interesting also about those knife fighting channels, it seems like, I don't know if serial killers signal each other that way, or men that hate women, but a woman's breast, if you look up the symbolism, one of the things is an apple. In art, an apple will symbolize a woman's breast. And yeah, so that was what Brian was following. And I'd like to remind people, because I think most people forgot, there was an interview with his upstairs neighbor, and the upstairs neighbor said that every morning at 3 o'clock, Brian got up and made a bunch of noise. No, actually Brian was above him, so it was his downstairs neighbor. She said for about an hour, Brian would run all over the apartment, back and forth, in and out of rooms. So he was actually training his body so that at 3 in the morning, it would be at peak performance. He was training for this for months and months, and he didn't just happen upon this house. And then the other thing he did was, we know he could run an 8-minute mile. And he went regularly running and hiking. Now, if you look at the distance throughout that house that he would have had to run, I calculated it before. I mean, just even being generous about it, was only a couple hundred feet. And a mile is 5,000 feet, okay? And he could run that in 8 minutes. That means he could run 1,200 feet in 2 minutes, literally. 1,200 feet in 2 minutes, but a room, like a bedroom or a living room, is only, 20 feet across in a living room. And then up the stairs, 20, 40, 60, 80, he only had to run a couple hundred feet through that house. That just takes seconds. And also, I actually, when I was in college, I took a class, Women's Self-Defense, and we were taught that it only takes 3 seconds to cross a living room. So if somebody breaks into your house, you have 3 seconds before they're at you. You have to know before they come what you're going to do. And if you pull out a tool, you need to use that tool immediately. Once you pull it out, you use it. So for people, a big thing is like, I don't see how he could have done that. It would have been so hard. He wasn't climbing Mount Everest. The human body is very, very soft. And even muscle, which is meat, when you go to the grocery store, if you buy a roast and it's not cooked yet and you cut it, it's extremely easy if your knife is sharp. Okay, so what he did wasn't hard. The hard part for most people would be the emotional part. Most people would feel bad. Most people would not want to do that. And if they felt self-defense, they would still probably have a problem. That would be the actual hard part about it. But if you had zero feelings, zero emotions, and nothing but rage, this guy was in so much rage when he did this. You listen to that reading at what he was thinking. I'm like literally in that reading repeating his thoughts as I'm being given to them. And if you're new to my channel, this was a deep trance reading, the first one, where I literally prayed myself into unconsciousness. So I was so mad when I read the article. Since my own daughter was murdered, it just shattered something in me. And I saw everything for how it really was, in the world. It just, all the illusions were gone. And how fake our society is. And on the mainstream media and the fake stories. So I decided to turn off my TV reception just for an experiment. And within a week, I literally started having my own thoughts. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because everything you watch is programming you. It's training your brain. And I started having my own thoughts. And then I thought, I'm going to go for a month. And then at a month, I was like, I'm going to go for 6 months. And before 6 months, I knew I have not turned on my TV reception in 14 years since my daughter was murdered. I'm done. I'm over it. I don't want it. And I do have YouTube, though, so I watch things, and I have a television. It's not like I cut myself off, but I choose what I put into my mind. And I forgot where I was going with that, but I totally forgot. Let's see. I can't even remember. There was a point. There really was a point. Let me see if anyone has any questions. Let's see. If you have any questions, you can just let me know. If you have I can only see, if you put a question and I didn't answer it, just put it again, because this is a beta thing with StreamYard, and they only show 4 at a time, so I can't just see all the new comments. There's no button for that. I'm just going to send a text to someone. So if you had a question, here's a question. Let's see. Someone says, Oh, someone says they don't understand how they could do it that fast. That's what I'm telling you. He could run 5,000 feet in 8 minutes. And he did it on a regular basis, and he did it at night. And he got up every night and trained. And he also studied on his knife fighting channels where to stick the knife to kill them instantly. Not totally instantly, but, you know, to make sure he won the fight. He won to kill them. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it goes so fast. And there's 4. I wish I could figure out how to make it go a little slower. Okay, I'm gonna look at the comment thing. And then, will he get beat up in prison? Right, I heard he's in the high security place. Oh, Margaret says, do you think they will ever find the knife? I actually have a bunch more clues about the knife. So what I'm waiting to do is I want to upgrade my Otter subscription where you can put a reading into there. I have a bunch of readings I've done about just the knife even, but I can only put 10 a month with the subscription I got. So I'm waiting to upgrade where I can just put them all. Is that on lots of cases and lots of readings I've done? I have about 3,000 readings recorded, and it's too much work but I have clues about the knife. I'm collecting all the clues I see out there. And you know, I did a video about the shovel, but we can't assume. Okay, Brian got rid of his spare tire and bought a brand new spare tire and got rid of it after the crime and got a different spare tire. So that's how meticulous he was about making sure there was no DNA. So is he stupid enough to then use a shovel and not clean it? Or did he bury something else? So is the knife still in one place and then maybe he needed to put his extra blood or something? Maybe if he thought the police were following him, and so maybe that's why it has some, and I don't know either way. Like, you can never underestimate these criminals because, like, even with Chad Daybell, you would think, who would be so stupid in the state of Idaho where there's massive land where you could go up and hide a body, but to bury them in your yard? Like, what an idiot. So is Brian just stupid enough to carry the same shovel as his knife, even though he has almost a doctorate degree in criminology? Or did he bury something else? So you have to keep both options open as far as looking for the knife. And then, yeah, I have a few more clues I held back because I kind of want to drive up to Idaho if I can gather the resources. And I also want to go through the rest of the readings. I do have some more clues about his knife, but they definitely showed him burying it. And at one point, I can't find the readings still, but I was listening to part of it and I was saying, why is he carrying that bag of concrete? So I think it's possible. I'm not saying, because if I only see something once, I'm not 100% sure. But if they show me over and over and over, then I give it more definite credibility. But I definitely think, knowing his personality, Brian would have made the hole to bury the knife ahead of time, because this is a sacred object, right? This is the object that he's going to kill these people he hates. And then line it with the concrete so that when he puts it in there, it's not going to get rusty and ruined and he can come back years later and pick it up. And I also saw him, if anybody ever does find the knife, this is important to know. I saw him bury the knife, and then I saw it was almost exactly 5 feet away, where, like, if I went, but if there's a young tree, and you know, it has softer soil, the young tree, and I think it might be near a building or a dwelling or something, I don't know, but if you go about 5 feet around the edge, okay, I'll just finish this sentence. That's where he buried the jar with the body part, right there. 5 feet from the knife. I'm just saying, if anyone ever finds it, you don't want to just turn over all the ground, find the knife and then turn over all the ground. You want to be very careful, because about 5 feet from the knife towards, if there is a dwelling by there, go around, like, if you know how there's a circle around a tree, like when you plant a tree?
Yeah.
because
the
you
root
put in this
system?
different soil. Yeah, you put your, so if you went like and followed that kind of circle around about 5 feet from where the knife's buried, that's where he put the jar with the body part.
I mean, that is so precise, Donna, your information.
They showed me a bunch of times.
So can I just air my frustration with these experts?
Yeah.
When I listen to them, I can't help it. I get angry sometimes. I go, to me, there is no better expert than you who can actually attach and embed themselves with the mind of this killer, where you see every detail that happened. Like these experts, they don't see everything. You do, and it's proven just from your readings of Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow. Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah, he does have his pulse on it. He's like there's maybe been 3 that I've listened to where I'm like, oh, he gets it. He gets it. Like from what I experienced with Brian.
Yep.
And everything, how I felt, how I received his energy and I received his thoughts and everything about Brian and his motives and everything else. And I was listening to him and I was like, yeah, he's got it.
He gets it. He's one of the very
few. He understands. Yeah. Very few. He gets it. And then there was like 2 psychiatrists that aren't even on all these YouTube channels. They just like on Inside Edition, I saw him, some psychiatrist, and I kept trying to find his name, but he was talking about it is possible to be a vegan and to also be obsessed with blood, because if he's with abstaining in front of everyone, he's not going to sit there and get a hard on in front of everyone either, and also lose control. Lose control is, he just gets into that rage mode, and he's all about this blood. So of course it would seem normal to abstain from it,
Right.
And I thought, okay, that guy had it, and another one talked like that too. Oh my God.
This is Chloe. You guys have seen her over the years. If anybody in here is on my channel sometimes too. Yeah.
She's beautiful.
Thank you.
Is that called a seal point?
No, she's a Siberian. So she's got the pretty blue eyes. Oh, she wants to get down. My husband cut her hair recently. So she has
he did.
Yeah, it's so funny looking.
She's pretty.
Thank you. Thank you. But back to Dr. Gary. Yeah, he seems to really get it, Donna. And there's only there's maybe 4 or 5 people that I can even stand listening to.
I know. I get real irritated.
I do too.
I get real irritated when they say really super stupid things. And then the people they'll go, oh yeah, I'm this doctorate and this and that, and I know what happened. I know what he's thinking. No, you clearly do not. You know what I mean? But in their benefit, I'm sure like they're not following it. They might work at a full-time job and someone might hand them a 3-page synopsis. Hey, we're going to talk about this. Give us your opinion. You know what I mean? So they're just like guessing.
Exactly. Like, I think one of the very important things and I think it was because of you that I was in tune with this, was that map early on, Donna. When you told me, or I guess you told the world through your reading, that this guy was serial killer energy. And I started seeing these posts on 4chan, and that there were coordinates and locations that he had seriously taken screenshots of and put online. And he said, there's more here.
Yeah.
So in other words, it was multiple locations of evidence buried. Is what I heard. And the only reason I concluded that he buried it was because of you. The only reason I concluded he was a serial killer was because of you. So my eyes were peeled to look for that kind of info. So when I say only a few people I can stand even hearing talk about this case, it's because I feel we so deeply, you especially, profiled this guy.
Oh yeah, I missed my calling, I'll tell you. Yeah. If I was an FBI profiler, could you imagine how good I would be?
Seriously, that is a calling for you, Donna.
But yeah, and if anybody is looking for the knife, I put that 4chan post in my posts on my YouTube channel. Yeah. So you can scan down and find that. Good. It has actual, if I do go to Idaho, that's absolutely one of the places I would look. Yeah.
And there's multiple posts. There's another post that shows it's an aerial view, kind of, so it shows the trees and this cluster of trees, and then it's got a red circled area, and it's very close to the Washington state line. So it indicates that that is where it was maybe buried, I guess.
Really? So I didn't see that one. So is that on 4chan?
That was on 4chan, yeah. So I
If
have
you
that.
come across it again, send it to me. I mean, don't go out of your way to look, but if you come across it, send that one to me. I mean, I have a whole file, and I swear next time I do a case, I'm going to be organized. They don't have names, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it would be good but I move so fast that it's like, you know, and I've just got file after file after file of unknown,
right.
you know, a whole file of 4chan posts.
Right.
Because remember, he said, I'm going to be hiding in shithole Pennsylvania.
Exactly.
Of course that was Brian. How would somebody else say I'm going to be hiding in shithole Pennsylvania?
And I think that's where my frustration has come from so much that I don't even, it's like, I only want to be here to talk about it with you because I don't even know if I could talk about it on my channel in the future. It's making me so irritated hearing these people ignore the facts. And I know that they have to for legal reasons, probably. He was absolutely on these different, you know, Facebook groups.
Oh, yeah.
And he had these multiple usernames and he was on Spotify. I mean, I could show you this stuff. And so it's like, I'm at this point where I don't even want to talk about it with anybody. It's just, I'll just listen to other people talk. No,
I believe he was Papa Roger.
He was.
Even if they didn't find the connection, I believe, I mean, 99%, I could be wrong. So it's not a psychic thing. Sometimes just me talking, people think she's making I'm not making a psychic claim, but my gut instinct feels like I believe he's Papa Roger.
I think so too. And you know, when the FBI was, or maybe it was actual local law enforcement, when they were pulling the records from, let's say, Instagram and Facebook, if they had even one part of like the alphabet off, right, or an underscore where it should have been a dash, then the record would come back as, oh, it's non-existent. So it has to be exactly what the name was. And if they didn't know what his name was on, let's say, Instagram, of course they're not going to get those files, right? He could have been under different aliases, is my point.
Oh, yeah. I've made so many profiles, I don't even remember the passwords.
Exactly.
Like, you know, all you got to do is make an email. I have so many emails. I don't know them all. I don't even use them. But it's like all you do is then you go on and that's your account. Like, and they said he had multiple phones to top it all off.
Thank you. And he did.
Yeah. So easily he could be that. But see, Bill Thompson can't say that. He has to say only what they have in their evidence file.
I know. And I'm glad you're reminding me of that because I've been getting frustrated about that too. I'm like, why don't they just tell it like it is? I hate the BS.
I'll tell you what I really hate is when people assign human attributes to Brian.
I know.
Like when people go, he went around the block because he was hesitant. He wasn't sure if he wanted to kill him. And I'm like, oh, yes, he was very sure. he was fully committed and he had no fear about it. You know, and that's the stuff that I'm like, you know, that's not saying it right. Like Definitely. That.
And, you know, in our January 1st, 2023 live stream we did together, Donna, shortly after he was arrested, but before the affidavit came out about him, you were talking about how he was circling the house. You said multiple times that he did. That didn't come out for another 7 days in the affidavit.
I even saw him do that 3-point turn.
Yeah, you did.
I know. And I said, oh, well, he was parked here first and then he moved here. And I do concede that he may have ended up parking up on the upper street, but they showed me him coming down or not coming down, but they just, where it picks up is I'm in front of the house and I see him walking across the dry parking area and he walked right to the front door. And I couldn't tell if he jiggled the handle or if he was just trying to make it look like that. And then he moved on and he went to the side of the house and up the side of the house.
Interesting. That's so interesting. Wow.
I know.
And then you nailing the fact that there was surveillance
surveillance. Yeah.
Yeah.
I go, if you go up 4 buildings, there's some camera on the roof. And then that Linda Lane footage.
That was so interesting.
Yeah.
Those kind of details. I mean, when people try to say, oh, she just makes this shit up. No, she doesn't.
You can't make that at the pool party. The pool party. Okay. If you look on my Xana Kernodle reading, Kylie Gonsalves, who wasn't even friends with the person having the reading after Xana was done, but towards the end of the reading, there's like a whole 10 minutes, Kylie stepped in and she was like, I was trying to look around her because they also were friends with Maddie. And I was looking in Maddie's room, But Kaylee's like went like this with her spirit hands, like, listen to me, like that. And then she was going on and on about this pool party. And then it was like 9 days later, Nancy Grace comes on this neighbor and there's pool party. And then when Dateline did it, I was like, yay, vindication. And if people think I care, like, why do you care? Come over here and help me monitor my comments where people call me names every day.
Yeah. It helps prove your ability, I think, every time it's validated that way. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's multiple reasons. Because so after Nicole died and like, I could feel her so strongly. And I started going to these classes. This one guy, Tony Stockwell, who I had a reading with, and I put it on here about my daughter, Nicole. And, but I drove all the way to Arizona just for a 5-day workshop with this guy who came here from England.
That's cool.
Like I was so entranced with this guy. And when he came in the room and people were just standing around still, it hadn't started yet. I saw him come in the room and he was just walking from group of people to group of people. But I was standing alone and I was just leaning against the wall. And this guy, he walks up to me. He's a psychic medium. He walks up to me and he goes, you know, if we could prove the afterlife to the world, then all these other things that you're always working on will just kind of come together. And I was like, before that, I was all into activism. It was one cause or another. I'd volunteer work, or volunteer to pass GMO labeling, volunteer against Monsanto, volunteer for medical marijuana, whatever. But I was always doing something, trying to change the law, trying to fight a fight. And when he said that, I was like, there's no way he would know that about me.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, okay. I'll take that on. I'll prove the afterlife to the world.
That's cool.
That literally. So that was always in my mind, always in my mind. And then when when my daughter came in that time, she brought Tylee. I saw Tylee with my physical eyes, like translucent in my living room. But this went on for a couple of weeks. And I'm like, okay, this is like 5 people that got murdered. They always gave me 5. I know 4 got caught,
So
5. But so I was meditating and I could see my spirit guide with my eyes closed. I could see her. She's light being. And I was like, you know, COVID had just started, right? And I thought, there's so many people and they're so terrified. Like I should be able to do something to help people not be so scared. And so I'm meditating, like, should I be spending my time on this? I feel guilty even working on this case when the whole world is in a shambles. And my spirit guide, she's going, they called it a mission. But she's like, well, half of your mission, communicate telepathically, but half of your mission is to make sure the bodies are found. And the other half of your mission is to prove the afterlife, to use that case to tell the world to prove the afterlife. And I think that's part that hurts so much the most about people that claim to be religious, like all the Mormons that controlled this case. If they really cared about God, why are they trying to squelch proof of the afterlife?
It's like they're afraid of it or something.
Well, because then I might have power to point out that that's a cult or something, I guess. You know, or something. I don't know why, but it was always, to me, I'm like, well, if you guys want me to prove the afterlife, why'd you give me a case with Mormons who want to pretend I don't exist? You know, it's like, I mean, you got to figure they have an ultimate plan or something. Like there's got to be a plan in here somewhere.
Some deeper reason. Yeah.
Yeah. But so it was the spirit guide, the lady, then she was like, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. And you are supposed to be making sure the bodies. Oh, this is why she showed me, because they killed the children in the name of God, and that will not be tolerated. That was the big thing, different than even killing other children. It was they actually killed those children in the name of God, as they are serving God and murdering children, and that is egregious, to the spirit world.
It is. Oh wow.
So I'm not a perfect person by any means. Obviously, I meant never to say anything bad about people again, but I'm not perfect. I can't pretend to be, but I'm just trying all the time to do the best I can, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And I share the same frustrations with you, Donna, with what you deal with on a regular basis between the cops and the deniers and
I
the
know.
crap talkers and
Even Gray Hughes the other day is so funny because all he'd have to do is listen to my reading. Anytime
oh,
anyone brings me up, I'm sitting there watching him on his maps, only because I'm not technical.
me neither.
Like I can't figure out how to do that stuff.
Me neither.
But anytime anyone brings me up, he just like almost melts down.
Yeah, he does.
He goes,
Hates them.
I'm telling you guys, psychics are not real. They are just good at guessing.
I wish you would do a reading on him, Donna. Oh my gosh, that's what you do.
He would get mad.
Put a reading out of him. And it's irrefutable, undeniable. Maybe he would, I don't know, maybe he wouldn't even listen.
I don't want to do that with that. I wouldn't want to do that just to not, I don't want to start friction. And he could not believe that if he wants, because definitely women tend to have more intuition. So that's why more women kind of are drawn to like, oh, this is pretty neat, you know. But and some men have that, and some men are psychic mediums and stuff. But maybe he's just so I mean, he obviously, if he's good at factual stuff, the mechanical stuff of making the maps and making the 3D models, he's real left brain. He can't comprehend in his stone brain. he can't comprehend that there are people that can sense what is beyond our physical bodies, you know?
Exactly.
And that's okay. I don't need to make him admit anything.
I know. You're right. You're good about that. See, for me, I just want to, I don't know, because I look back on how hard-headed I was before finding your work and going, no, that's all BS. It's just crazy, you know?
Yeah. This crazy lady's talking about this kid's leg being shot.
Yeah. No, I mean, when you proved it to me, now I just feel this desire in me that I want to share with the world that, yes, this is a real deal, that you guys can be very helpful with these cases, that there's no reason to not get the help from a person like yourself when it comes to murders, true crime in general, you know?
Well, especially if there's no evidence.
Well, yeah, when there's no evidence, what do you have to lose? You've got nothing to lose. And so that's why I've always been like a staunch protector of you and advocate of you.
I appreciate that so much. I really. Oh, tell people the name of your channel.
Oh, yeah.
Our tags aren't up. I don't know why. So StreamYard made itself a little different lately.
So Donna and I have done tons of collaborations together over the last 4 years now. I'm Sweetie PieLo on YouTube. So if you look up Sweetie PieLo, you'll see my channel. And if you want to watch all of our live streams, we got a number of them on my channel, Donna, like at least 10 or something by now, I think.
And even starting out right after he got arrested, right? We did a really good live stream.
We did a really good, it was solid. And the following one was great too. So
all three of them, there's a series. So they're linked in my playlist, and I'm going to put Lauren's channel. So it's Sweetie. Oh, there's someone wrote it. I'll put a link to her channel, or if one of the admin, if it's easy for an admin, they can do it. But I'll put a link in the comment so you can make sure you're subscribed to her channel, because please support. Like, Lauren really put herself out there. Like, at a time when I was being attacked regularly, Lauren, she had a walk-in closet, but she has children, so she didn't want her children to after her, so she goes in her closet. I'm like watching this lady talking,
like, why is she in her closet? What a weirdo. I
thought it was cute. Well, I understood because you had kids and the subject matter is so horrible.
Well, Layla was in the very next room, and she was 2 and she was asleep. It was that time of night when I made the video, so I didn't want her to hear me.
Exactly. And you're like, listen, you guys. I thought, you know what? That is so brave and so nice, because I know that there's people who listen to me all the time and they make stories about what I say, but they never acknowledge me. And I don't mind at all if people do that, but gosh, please just at least acknowledge me. You know, if you're going to listen to my reading and then turn around and make multiple YouTube videos based on theories about my reading, then why not acknowledge my work, you know? Why not? Let's bring this out of the shadows, because people have used psychic mediums throughout history, and it's so hidden. It had to be hidden because they murdered people like me.
Yeah.
You know, unless they were working for the king, and then if they got something wrong, they'd get murdered then.
Wow.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they had psychic mediums that even their job was to remote view like boundaries or like where, yeah. And if they were wrong, if say an army infringed on there and they hadn't picked it up, guess where they're going? Out to the chopping block.
Jeez.
For real. Okay. For real. So you could be working for a king and queen, but if you fall into disfavor, they're going to kill you too. Scary. Literally. And then they put out the Bibles that say, oh, psychics are bad. God hates psychics. Are you kidding? Jesus Christ was a psychic. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, it was a psychic medium, metaphysical healer, a wonderful, loving, amazing person who was trying to tell everyone, like it says right in the Bible, it says, whatever I can do, you can do also.
It's fascinating.
And another thing, I think the Christians went through and tried to take out every metaphysical thing out of the Bible, but the one that they didn't get is one of the best ones, which it says, when thy two eyes become one, thy body shall be filled with light. So you know what they mean?
The pineal gland.
Yeah. Yeah. When your pineal gland wakes up, and if you're lucky to have a crown chakra awakening, which is a massive influx of this spiritual energy that's not of this world, and it comes down and it goes down your spine, and then it shoots back up, and it's like your whole skull. Like when this happened to me, the whole inside of my skull with my eyes closed was pure white. Wow. Like my eyes were closed, and all I saw was the brightest white light. And I just massive rush of energy. And I laid on my bed for like 3 hours. I couldn't even move. It was like and the only word for it was the all that is. What people call God, it was like I was floating in it, and it was like the all that is. Like I see it as almost if you imagine a giant cloud, but it's the all that is. That's what it is. That's what God is. And you remove all the blocks, and Jesus left that in the Bible, or Jesus said that.
Yeah.
But most Christians have no idea what it means, or they would have took that out too. Jesus was, Christ means christened, right? So the Hindus before that had Krishna is their Christ. That means christened. That's when you stimulate the lower part of your spine, and the Kundalini goes up from the bottom that when you do that, and then goes back down. And so Jesus Christ means christened. And what I can do, you can do also. He was trying to teach people to open up. Jesus didn't have a building. He didn't have a church. He was going around trying to teach people how to open directly to God. So if you were really a true Christian, you would believe that. And a lot of Christians, you can see when you go to church, the ones that are glowing, they're just like all on this high.
Oh yeah. It's
just the words and the terminology. They're open to it, So it's just different one. But the ones that are angry and judgmental and mean and that's not
horrible.
The christened part. They just still have more. We all have more work to do. Look, I meant to never talk about Kay Woodcock again.
I know.
And it's hard to talk about this case and what happened to me without mentioning her, but I apologize again. I'm sorry. But yeah, so we all have work, including myself.
I get it completely. I understand, because it hurts me too.
It was brutal. It was brutal. Like when they were trying to get, Kay Woodcock put up a thing that said, thank you so much for making this really snotty video about me, ridiculing me. Like she was throwing up every roadblock to not have JJ's body found is what it felt like. And so she was encouraging all these people to attack me is what she was doing.
So
in a group of like 50,000 people. So then the next day they were saying, we need someone to murder Donna. And guess what? Some lady that only lives 30 minutes from me volunteered.
That is so ill. Wow.
Yeah. And no, I don't, other than I don't see her as being a whole lot different than Laura. I see that whole story as a war of the roses. You remember that movie where they're like, a war of the roses is what really it was, if this true story was told. And, but I don't want to be mean. Like, because part of me is like, okay, when my brother was murdered, and it was the same thing, it was like life insurance.
Yeah.
My brother was murdered. There's always a part of us that has to forgive ourselves, because when anyone's murdered, we're like, well, what if I had done this differently? Maybe it would have changed the course of events. So if I have to forgive, I have to forgive myself too.
It's deep. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That profoundly, that thought came to me too, is maybe what I need to focus on is forgiving myself inside, because my brother called me like the day before he said he would have come at Christmas, but he didn't like somebody else that I invited. And so he didn't come. So if he had been there, like at Thanksgiving the month before, he came and stayed at my house for 4 days. Mm-hmm. So I felt real bad, like I could have changed it if only, right? And so then I'm furious at Kay why she sent JJ back to Lori, but that judgment is not really about her. It's about myself. Or I'm furious about myself because I had a feeling to get in my car and drive to my daughter. I knew she was having a problem and I didn't do it. And then that's the last time she was ever seen. And then her body was found. So it's really about ourselves when we reflect, or at least we have to look. These things really happen, but I also have to look inside.
So it's like a replaying of these events where you feel like you could have affected the change that would have saved their life.
Yeah. And so then I see that she was supposed to bring JJ home for the summer. Charles had nothing to do with him. He had to travel for his work. Lori was psychotic. She was threatening to murder people. Kay took her home and 3 days later dumped him. She was supposed to, but the reality is I didn't go save my own daughter. And it really isn't that what it's about. And every single person who's a victim of a murder, they feel that even more than a regular death, because that shouldn't have happened and maybe they could have done something. I mean, on the Friday night, I felt like there was a hand pushing me to go get in my car, but I was like, it's like 10 o'clock and it'd be an hour drive and I don't know if they want me there and I don't know if there'd be a place to sleep. So I said, and then I was taking care of someone's dog. So in the morning I went over there and I felt that so strong, like just get on the freeway and go there now. Mm-hmm. And this story is important because people also need to start trusting their intuition, because I actually pulled over in Staples parking lot and I sat there for 10 minutes, rationally, intellectually, talking myself out of this overwhelming urge that I should drive to my daughter. Wow. And that day, she left a note that said, go for a walk. She called a friend and she said she was going to go meet her ex-boyfriend to get her stuff back, and she wanted a ride. That was the last person that that was, besides the course of events, but the last person known to have talked to her, and she disappeared into thin air. And then 5 days later, her body was found. And it's really about me forgiving myself rather than being angry at Kay Woodcock, right? For sending JJ back. Do you get it? It's really about forgiving ourselves. Yeah.
It's misplaced guilt, maybe.
Oh, totally. And just, I felt so guilty after my brother Steve was murdered because I thought, I don't know, it's like we think that we have this control over our lives.
I know.
And I watched this thing about Dylan Mortensen this morning and how the person that was talking, I don't think he really quite understood. Well, sure, he did not understand. If you have a family member murdered, one of the things that you deal with that is different than other kinds of death is you will never feel the same again in your life. When another person out in the world knowingly, voluntarily eliminated your loved one. Mm-hmm. And if you know it could happen to anyone, anytime, anywhere, it really can. Whether it was with Nicole or with my brother, anyone could get murdered. You could walk in a 7-Eleven, there could be a robbery, you could get shot in the head. I mean, your sense of vulnerability is different. From then on, because and you see a side of humans that you normally really don't think exists, Yeah.
So Wow. It's a level that I'm sure like you can never go back. It's that, what do you call it? Oh shoot, there's a word for
Innocence
it.
or naivete.
Yeah, the naivete of your
It's
life
stripped away from you
before,
permanently.
gone, and now you see things for what they are.
And your life experience will be different for the rest of your life. You might be able to get functional, but you might not. And then the other thing that the person didn't get, PTSD is a physical thing. So it's good to learn coping skills, but it's important to understand that no pill is going to make PTSD go away. And you can do things to cope. And it's nice to believe that it can, but it's actually causes physical changes in the brain. And then the other thing that the person was a therapist too, but how would they know? They'd never been through it. And then the person was saying, someone was saying about anxiety attacks, and then that person was saying the wrong thing about that too. Anxiety attacks happen when something's so traumatic that the part of your brain, so if you have an emotion and something scary is going to happen, the part of your brain that senses that puts out adrenaline. But if something super traumatic happens and it malfunctions and never goes back, what happens is, for no reason at all, there could be no stress. You could be in the middle of a grocery store and all of a sudden you get a massive shot of adrenaline. Yeah. For no reason. And the adrenaline's so strong, your heart's pounding, and then
overwhelming. Yeah.
Yeah. And then your fear adds to it. So that happens, and then you go into a state of fear, and it just full on puts you right back into that spot. So of recognizing that mechanism that happens, and then knowing, okay, I'm starting to have, I'm having a massive influx of adrenaline, and then just going maybe somewhere outside the store for a minute and taking, deep breaths for about 5 minutes or something like that. Just knowing what it really is. If you don't know what it really is, then you can't really fix it. Fix it means go away. It might be something you live with, but that you manage.
Yes. Like last summer when I almost drowned in the Salt River, I had reached this, it was a height of adrenaline, anxiety that like if your mind had an elevator, I went to the very top floor. I had never felt that in my life. And now certain things will trigger that in me. And all of a sudden I can't breathe and I just keep reliving it. It's the weirdest thing. I'd never had this before.
That's PTSD. See, so your brain now has this intense experience, and if it even senses that there's anything related, it will trigger it, but it can also trigger it when there's no reason at all.
Yep.
And if you don't know that, if you do know that, you have an extra tool that now you're like, okay, I'm getting a bunch of adrenaline and I'm getting these racing thoughts. And it's like the answer to that is deep breathing. But it still could happen sometimes,
Yeah. It happened to me again, as far as the anxiety attack when we were coming down from Flagstaff, which is northern Arizona, we were coming back into the valley, Phoenix area. And all of a sudden I felt like I couldn't breathe. I couldn't see straight. I was totally having an anxiety attack and I did not know why. Now, looking back on it now, I think that honestly, I had too much caffeine and something just triggered in it.
Caffeine will trigger it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was torture, Donna. I was just like sitting with my head between my legs because I couldn't think straight. I couldn't breathe right. I really thought I was dying.
It's scary. It's really scary. I started having anxiety attacks when I was being stalked before.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I was being stalked to the point, like this guy broke into my house and hid in my closet.
What?
And I was sleeping. I was sleeping for like 2 hours before I heard something in the closet. And then so I went and opened my back door, and then I ran in and opened the closet door, and I ran back out. And he comes out and starts yelling at me. And I mean, it was scary. It was scary. And I started having anxiety attacks. So that's why I know what I'm talking about. Okay. And you could be in the middle of a store. Like I was in the middle of the store. And so I was slightly stressed because it's like being a single mom. I had a little bit of a budget, and I'm like, really, should I buy this? But I want to buy this, little skirt for my daughter or whatever, just nothing that should cause an anxiety attack. But all of a sudden, there's that massive release of adrenaline, and then I get scared, and then, oh, the two men behind me were trying to flirt with me. And the thing is, when the guy was stalking me, then any man trying to flirt with me was scaring me. I was like, get away from me. And then they started calling me stuck up. I was in the middle of an anxiety attack, and then they're not trying to say it to my face. They're saying it to each other, like, "Shut, don't bother talking to her. She's stuck up," or something. Because whatever. Yeah. And it was like all I wanted to do was run out of the store. Yep. I was so scared. But then I called the mental health, county mental health, and I told them what was going on, and went in there, and that's when the lady told me about the anxiety attacks, and that's the mechanism. Is the part of your brain that does that, it doesn't function right anymore. And it just spurts out adrenaline sometimes for no actual reason. So you have to know that. And so that, because if you feel fear, it's going to do it worse.
Okay. That explains a few things for me then.
Yeah. Okay. So if that starts happening, then you're like, oh my God, oh no. Then the whole world goes hollow. Your thoughts are all racing. So the whole thing would be like 10% of what it was if you just felt this massive adrenaline, started to feel the anxiety and go, okay, that's okay. My brain just needs to relax. I need to get some oxygen in there, and I know I'm okay. Know, and do the breathing, deep breathing and stuff.
Talking yourself through it, I think, is huge. Yeah.
And knowing it's okay, because once you feel the fear, then it's going to release more adrenaline.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's a prison, really. Dealing with PTSD is like a prison.
It's, and for years, it's like people think you're supposed to get over it. Oh, get over it. Oh, are you ever going to get over it or whatever? But I saw this one psychiatrist from Yale, and he did like an hour-long lecture, and he says, no pill has ever helped PTSD. None. Right. No therapy has actually ever made PTSD better or go away. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can do things that manage PTSD, but it's a physical change in the brain.
Totally is. I know. So when you think about these surviving roommates, and imagine what kind of not only guilt, but just remembering the events that night that were scary, loud, whatever it is. I mean, God, I feel so bad that I haven't given them more grace along the way when I think about that.
Yeah, I know it's easy to kind of objectify people and not, I mean, It was really good that Dylan showed up and was able to talk there, because I think it opened a lot of people's eyes to, what she's been through. Like in that first reading, I saw her out of her body. Like she went like that, fell back on her bed, and I actually saw her energy body out of her body, and right. Whether she should have called or not, she lived in a party house. She just moved in. She was the junior person in the whole house. All the other ones were bosses of her, and they did pranks all the time. And it was an open house. Anyone could come there and party. So why would she think something was up other than maybe someone's wrestling upstairs? Or then she sees this guy and she's terrified, but she doesn't know, and she's drunk, and I just don't think the vilification of her was appropriate at all.
Yeah. And you connected some dots on that whole deal too with Dylan, that maybe she had dumped some weed or whatever it was. What do you remember?
Oh, the box. Well, I didn't see what was in it, but yeah, it was a box.
Okay. Because some guy was caught on camera, I guess, on surveillance, picking up the lid of the dumpster and looking inside. So I almost wonder if like maybe she relayed the message, hey, I had to dump some stuff, like you want to go grab it. I don't know when that whole dumpster look, the view happened. But when I heard that, I immediately thought of what you channeled from the whole Dylan Mortensen thing.
And I even feel a little bad about that, but it's like all I can do is say what they're showing me.
Right. And I think you're right. I do. I think you always get it right, honestly.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess I should go.
I know, me too. It's 2.5 hours.
I know. Yeah, it's been a while.
I'm so glad to see you again.
Me too. I'm so glad to see you. We got to get together again and do this soon.
All right. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you so much, everybody who came, and thank you so much for your support of Donna, and that you see the beauty in her gift also. I just really appreciate you, Donna, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you. And if you are able to share out our videos or share any of my videos or put my name on there. I've only had 400 new subscribers in the last year, which means my
Are
videos
you serious?
Oh yeah, my videos aren't being shown. My videos are not being shown.
Mine are being suppressed too, Donna. I
yeah. And that's why I keep going, if this channel is going to grow, I need your help. I really do.
I know. I feel at the point where I'm like, I don't know that I want to keep doing this. Like, I'll keep in touch with you, but I don't know that I want to continue on sometimes here.
Right.
It's just, it's kind of toxic at times. I don't like the way we meet each other. And I go, is this really worth all the misery sometimes, with people just being so horrible to each other?
Yeah.
Toxic. It's not good for our bodies, I guess is what I figured out recently.
Totally. It can make you sick.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to eliminate anything that can make me sick, honestly.
Yeah. I think about those things too.
Yeah.
Then, so if a case comes along, I'll do it, but I'm not like going to jump from one case to the other. I might just start doing Christians, or not Christian, but like more spiritual.
Right.
And just, normally before I was on YouTube, I did 1 or 2 cases a year.
Yeah.
For like 6 years, but not every week. And stuff like that. It is toxic. I could feel sick when I get too into it sometimes.
For sure. Because it's like we're all in. When we're in, we're all in. And it does take you down if you let it. I feel like it can anyway. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I've even seen a change. Notice like some people who are new YouTubers, and then it's like 3 years later, and every day they're on there and all they talk about is crime and crime and crime. And their looks even change. They get a darker look on them. And well, it's just like a sick look. It's like, I don't know if you could do that for all that long and then not feel sick,
Yeah,
so
completely.
But I might be more sensitive. Maybe it doesn't bother them as much, but their faces look a little darker to me.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that. Well, anyway, take care, Donna.
All right.
Subscribe to Donna. Don't forget.
Yeah. Guys, all right. And Lauren. Okay. See you guys later.
Okay. Bye. See ya.